I felt like I was taking on the task of, okay, I want to figure out life. That's a pretty broad damn thing.
You asked Blake, what is the meaning of life? Was that part of this?
Yeah, this was kind of in my exploration.
Because I was like, that's a really weird question to ask in the middle of a racing interview, but not like bad, just interesting.
Yeah, I've been a little quiet about this stuff because I was figuring out a lot, and not in a bad way. It wasn't like I was.
When you look at somebody who's really happy and they have a happy family, you're like, what are they doing differently than I'm doing?
Yeah, it's just I always want to be the best version of myself I can be, and we like to have clarity on things. Yep. So getting back to this, what I kept resorting to was the world feels like a case of good versus evil.
Yep.
All the time. Like pull back perspectives through the whole timeline of humanity. That's what everything. Yep. I was like, good versus evil, good versus evil, good versus evil. I kept on saying this to Tay, and I'm like, the only thing I can make sense of in my head, and what that leads me to, is religion. Mm-hmm. Nothing else. There's nothing else that it makes any sort of sense to me other than that, and things that obviously Tay was helping with and talking about. Fast forward through this time, Richmond. I walk in the racetrack and saw McDowell, and I'll talk to McDowell about straight away. I don't think we talk about racing ever. Yeah. We actually, after Dover, I think it was Dover, we raced the hell out of each other all day. Our car was like really bad. And then we like met for lunch a couple days later, and we didn't even bring it up because we get so immersed in other talks. But so I see McDowell at Richmond. We're walking in the track. Jump in anytime. This is a long story. Well,
no, I'm just hearing it out.
Yeah. Walking in the track, and the last part of this will get quite deep, but I'll try and keep it all together. Normal. It gets quite deep. But walking in the track, I see McDowell, talk to him, kind of tell him, hey, man, we have the same sort of views on this stuff, craziness going on, blah, blah, blah. I was like, how do you cope with this? Because it really drives me crazy. And how do you cope with this? And he was like, yeah, it's frustrating for sure. And there's a lot of corruption in the world and things that a lot of people that are deceived by, I'm not putting words in his mouth, and just in general, this was us back and forth talking. Yeah. Just talking back and forth of there's a lot of people that are just deceived by a lot of things, don't see what's going on, what's really going on. And what's important to us is people having free will and freedom. That's freedom of speech, freedom to do what they want and live as, that's what makes and has made our country excellent, is the right to do those things. That's what makes life beautiful. And it bothers us when you see those things starting to fizzle away, and we're just going through a crazy time period in history, and it'll go down in the history books, and we'll look back and be like, oh man, remember those time 2020 and all that, so we're living through it. I
look forward to that. Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, long story short, he goes, yes, it's frustrating. I understand, blah, blah, blah. I'm with you 100%. It doesn't mean it's not frustrating, but he said, I know how the story ends. I was like,
he said that on the pod too.
Yeah. And we shared that clip, and it was very impactful. I was like, yeah. And I'm still like, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, elaborate. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I know how this story ends. I know who wins in the end. And I know, basically, he's like, yeah, I'm again paraphrasing here, but I know my relationship with God, Jesus, and I know that basically when this story ends and life is over, that I don't know exactly how he worded it, but basically that energy carries on.
Words,
yeah. So I know who wins in the end, how the story ends, and I know where I'm going, and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, man, that was pretty, it was a longer, much deeper talk than that.
In the track at Richmond.
Yo, we were talking for an hour.
Oh, it was like you just like stopped and talked?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We were just hanging out talking. So anyways, it was a very impactful talk is the summary of that. Move on to, during this time, I've also been, it's all happened at once. It takes people. You're being surrounded by great people in life. And then, at our CrossFit place, we have the second Thursday of every month is this thing called Faith Fit that our friend Jeff Brown there started. And we do just a little easy workout, nothing crazy. And then kind of have a service, just a gathering of it's just friends. And
we do that at our place too.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. It's cool. The community is awesome.
Yep.
And so he, they invited me. People were like, hey, come. And I was like, yeah. So I started going to that. meantime. And I was like, man, these are just great people. These are the nicest, most genuine, great. None of us are perfect. No human being's perfect. Let me clarify. But it's like, man, these are just great people. It's very nice of them. And so we started going to that. And he told one of the, actually, I want to actually call him to get I want to find this video.
And the timing of this up, didn't we?
Oh, no, it's okay. We'll pull up the video at some point. But it was about Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm. One of the messages was he pulled up a video. We watched it about Tim Tebow, and when he had John 3:16, under his eyes, and which is.
You looking it up?
Yeah. Let's pull up John 3:16.
Bam. Oh, wow.
Oh, I got it too. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Mm-hmm. And so he was talking about this and what Tim Tebow did and kind of a sacrifice, that he made because he was so dedicated in his strong faith, things like that. In that game, the crazy part of the story was in that game.
I remember this, yep.
Do you remember he threw for like 316 yards and it was like 31.6 yards, something, and all of this. And I was like, that's no freaking coincidence.